I banged the desk then. Hello, hello, welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome. It is Sunday. It is time for Warhammer Sunday. If you've not seen one of these before, it's where I carry on with either my own army, the Unending forces of the Holy Contrivance, or I build more of my Warhammer Conquest partwork build-up, which I'm actually doing at the moment. I'm getting everything built so I can film everything later in the year, film the painting properly. Now, I'm going to keep an eye on the chat today. You can see it there. Last time I did a stream, this was like put in every comment like 6 different times, and it was really annoying, so keep an eye on that today. I don't know why it was doing that. But yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. 3 hours of me just waffling on about God knows what, nothing, probably getting very little work done. That doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what I'm here doing or what I'm here for. It doesn't matter. More about you guys having a place to hang out and chat, which I've got in front of me. Guthorm, as ever, is being a chat dolly and looking after the chat for you. So yeah, it's just a chance for you guys to hang out and chat, have a good time. Have me on in the background waffling away. You don't even need to watch, just have me on in the background. And we'll see if we can have a good time. As always, before we get going, very, very quick shout out to all the people that make these streams and all my content possible. First and foremost, at my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful patrons. The patrons that support me on patreon.com. Patreon.com/modelmakingguru. They pay my bills, they keep the food on my table, or they keep the food on and the lights on my table. I don't quite know which. I don't do things very well, so I get them mixed up. But they basically keep me going and keep me able to do this. Without them, I wouldn't be here. So massive, massive thank you to them. And also to my corporate supporters, emodels.co.uk and goblingaming.co.uk. Emodels, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs, traditional stuff. And of course, Goblin Gaming, your one-stop shop. Words, one-stop shop for all your tabletop gaming needs, both of which have links in the description below this video. You can get 20% off Games Workshop, Malifaux and Conflict 47 from Goblin Gaming, and massive savings also from emodels.co.uk. Do use the links below in the description, especially for Goblin Gaming, because that's an affiliate link, and every time you use that link, it tells them I sent you, and I get a little bit of income from that. So do use those links if you wouldn't mind ever so much helping me out. It does help me massively. So big shout outs to all of those. I can see a poster on my wall, and you know, like when a poster's held on with blue tack and one end goes like that, and it's just hanging there, because I know what's going to happen is it's going to annoy me now, because I'm going to be asleep in the middle of the night and I'll hear as this poster comes off the wall, and I'm like, no, don't do that. So I'm going to fix that later on. I'll forget and then it'll wake me up. But yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. Plan is today, like I say, to crack on with some work. Apologies, it's a few minutes late. I was just rendering something, I was editing and rendering a video, and I kind of forgot what time it was, and it was like, oh crap, I've got like 3 minutes to, and it was in the middle of rendering, so I'm like, oh fudge. Now I've had a dumbass day today. I've been trying to edit pre-roll for I'm going to do a Fallout 4 stream series. Because people said they want to see it, so I'm going to do it. But I've been trying to create the pre-roll that goes before the live stream, and it's like I've put more effort into this pre-roll that you haven't seen yet. Put more effort into this pre-roll than I have in most videos, because I like put the whole thing together and then rendered it out and realised I had the wrong tune. I'm like, oh, the wrong piece of music, so I had to put it back in again and redo it again. And then I realised I'd forgotten to transition at one point, so it went from one picture to another without fading. I'm like, oh. Because I have to watch, when I edit a video, I have to watch the whole thing to make sure it's right. And that's 18 minutes of content I had to watch many times because I kept messing it up. So by the end of it today, I'm like, just get it. Oh, you know when you keep goofing and making mistakes, like schoolboy mistakes, and you can't help yourself. And you've done the same thing 55 times now because you keep making a mistake doing it, and you're like, I'm losing the will to live. Oh. Yeah, so I was at that stage, and I'm like, crap, it's 2:40, so I better crack on. So yeah, a couple of minutes late. Anyway, let's have a quick look at who is in chat. As always, don't forget, by the way, of course, you can see there's a chat here. That's just the how's it looking, by the way? Let me see. I can't quite see on my screen. Is it duplicated or is it looking normal? I think it's looking normal. I'm just going to press some buttons. It looks normal. Good. It might just be my X-Wing stream that's a bit broken. I don't quite know why. Anyway, what was I going to say? No idea. I was about to say something. Oh yes, I've got the chat here in front of me. Don't forget, of course, if you want to get yourself noticed, this is about me interacting with you guys and you interacting with all your friends in chat. So I've got the chat here. Guthorm is keeping an eye on it. If you want to get my attention in chat, because to me it's just a stream of text that moves really fast, please do put your comments in big fat capital letters. Put the whole comment in capital letters if you need me to see it, because then it stands out in the chat as it whizzes past. Because I'm looking down here and not looking up there. If you want to, though, you can do a super chat, which is the dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. That puts your comment in a big coloured box and puts an animation up here somewhere. And that way, I've got no way to miss your comment at all. There's no way I can miss it because it makes a noise in this big, brightly coloured box. That also helps support this channel a bit, but it's completely got the chat here. So yeah, ask me questions. We'll do a usual thing where I just ask me anything, treat every of my streams as an ask me anything, like this Sunday streams. Because by God, do I need things to talk about. Now we've got the big cup of coffee ready. We'll have a quick look at who's in chat, and then we shall crack on with the cracking on. The first person in, even, and I can confirm this was Pascal, of course. He's been away for a little bit, but he's back. Pascal was in, because he was in before I even set the stream up. He was like, hello, and I'm like, I've not even set the stream up yet. Welcome, Pascal. Raging Modeler, Quanoman, Scaly Models, who's, of course, one of your mods, Scaly Models. And all the other mods are lovely little forest creatures with big shiny eyes and flippy floppy faces, and they look really adorable and they'll keep you safe. But if you cross them, they'll eject you into space with an enormous catapult that flings you into the heart of the sun. So don't cross the mods. Model Making Mayhem. We have Scaly Model super chatted. Ooh, £5. Thank you very much, Dad. That's a very kind gift from Dad. It says here it is. That's a super chat. I don't know if you'll see in my chat window down here. But that's what a super chat looks like. It's a big coloured box, so I might not mention it as soon as it appears here because it's like a 30-second delay before it appears up here. So I might just wait for 30 seconds until it pops up. But yeah, thank you, Dad. That's what a super chat looks like. Thank you very much. That's paid for a couple of coffees, that is. Where are we? So yes, Model Making Mayhem. I am arrived, yes. Sprue and Glue. Welcome, Sprue and Glue. We have Teeks is in. Hey, Teeks, another one of your mods. Teeks is our crazy Dutch Viking friend. I don't know why I call him Viking. He's not. We always take the mickey because we always joke that we have no idea between, like, you know, the Netherlands and Holland and Finland and Scandinavia and Norway. It's just all strange countries to us here in the UK. So we just call them all Vikings. Holland, Denmark, it's all the same thing. Sorry, Teeks. Welcome, Teeks. Teeks doesn't get a lot of time to watch the stream, so it's really nice that he's been able to come along. A massive hello to you. Athol McNicholas in. Welcome, Athol. We have Teeks is saying his little daughter's just learned to walk. She's good. She's learned to walk, so nothing in the house is safe anymore. Yes. We have, who else has come in? Paul at Team Inept is in, asking, are we there yet? 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 We're not there yet. I can't bend back enough to get under the camera properly, can I? I don't think I can. Hello. I can't bend that far back. That was really quite uncomfortable. For all of us, for all involved. And I've gone a little bit dizzy. We have some guy called Model Making Guru, don't know who that is. We have Nim Cinderella is in. Welcome, Nim. Dad has already asked the important question, which is, of course, bench and belly. What's on your bench? What are you working on? Doesn't have to be a model. Can be a picture. Can be a drawing. You can be putting up shelves. You could be building a shed. You could be doing some gardening. Doesn't really matter. What creative thing are you doing? And what's in your belly? What are you having for your dinner, or what have you had for your dinner? Let's have a look. Let's quickly get that both off then, because he's asked the question. So Nim's the first in. I said marmots. I don't know why the word marmots came into my head, so I decided to use the word marmots a lot. Nim is in. She's got Master Grade Magnum Age 2 build of Divers version. Gunpla on the desk. On the bench and belly. Tim Tams for now. Maybe a burger. Oh, Tim, are you doing the Tim Tam Slam? Tim Tam Slam! Got to do the Tim Tam Slam. Mordracker is in. Morning all. Dad says get the slam done, Nim. Yes. Nim also says no coffee right now. I'm out of filters. No coffee. Gutham's just panicking at this. He's looking and shaking. It's nothing to do with this hand here. Hello, we have a thing. TLC Creations super chatted £3. Thank you very much to TLC Creations. Did what was it, $3? Thank you very much. Very, very kind of you. I super appreciate that. Yeah, look at that. Imagine my hand's not there. He's terrified. You've not got coffee. You have to imagine whenever I do that my hand, I've got a green glove on and it's green screened out. You have to power of your mind to imagine that every time. Yeah, I haven't got the budget for that kind of. You have to imagine. I've got the kind of special effects budget where you have to imagine it. That's the kind of budget I'm working with. Mordracker, bench fetid bloke drone with heavy blight launcher. Still working on that. Our belly 2-minute chicken noodles and coffee. Yes, 2 minutes far too long. Needs to be instant. Ah, that's better, says Athol. Whisper Bar, need my daily chocolate intake with black coffee sweetened. Good man. Wayne Haywood is in. Welcome, Wayne Haywood. Jose Rosendo is in. It says, oh, bom dia. Welcome, bom dia, Jose. That means good day, by the way. Hello, good day. Oh, he sands one arm for 3 hours, says Paul at T-Minute. I may sand no arms because there's no arms today. Oh my god, do you do any work on that bench? Says Brewing Glue. No, this is not a workbench. This is a comedy hands bench. Where are we? Model Maker Mayhem says to Paul, you're on fine form considering you weren't about yesterday. Yes, he wasn't there for the Skyrim Saturday yesterday to throw insults at me, but he was poorly sick, bless him. He had a sickness. Edward is in. Edward Leonard says he's smoking 5 racks of baby back ribs today, so he'll be in and out. We had Model Maker Mayhem says Blarpatronic Sponge Farm. I like that. I need a Blarpatronic Sponge Farm. Space Hamster ZH is in. Welcome, Space Hamster. Says, hey guys, benches the Machining Krieger White Knight belly, probably Chipotle sausage later. Yes. Hey Guthorm, old Beardy fed you some sprats. I don't feed him sprats. He just steals food from me. He just appears and goes, look at that dinner on your plate. He's too fast for me. I can't. I sit my dinner down on the plate and say, right, just do what you need to do, and then I move in after that. I've given up. On the big telly, it says Model Making Mayhem. Your Model Muse is in, working on coffee at the moment. It's a big thing to work on. Work on it slowly. Oh, TLC did a sticker as well. Party on, dude, or rock on. Is that like a every rock? I don't know what that means. It's a rock thing, isn't it? It's a heavy metal thing. Scale Model Muse is in. Raging Modeler is in. Belly Sausage Rolls and Flaming Hot Monster Munch. Bench Judge Dredd starter set. Judge Dredd himself and another D&D thing. Minsk and Boo. I know that's a person. It means nothing else to me though. Arthur Monacle says bench how to put blade in the planer, and for my belly later on chili con carne. I had to do some work on the on the porch door at home. Here, you know, a couple of months ago, because it was sticking. I needed to just, you know, trim the bottom of the door off because it's swollen over the years with the rain and the moistures. And we've got no tools in the house. We've got nothing at all. And I've got no woodworking skills. I'm not practically minded. So I was like, well, we're going to have to plane a little bit, shave a little bit off the bottom of the door because the door frame's here. There's the door frame and the door's just sticking out a little bit. So I thought, this is before lockdown. I'll go to the place and I'll get. So I came back with a plane. I don't know the difference. And I'm like, bear in mind, I can't take the door off the hinge. So the door's like this far off the ground. So I'm lying on the ground trying to get this plane under the door to plane the bottom of it. And it's not gripping, and I've got no idea how to use a plane, so I'm fiddling with the screws. I got it figured in the end, but my practical skills just not even existing. Gothorm is a fudge thief, says Scaly Models is a fudge thief. Yes, if you have fudge, he'll be at it like that. He'd be on it like stink on a tauntaun. Jason Woodland's in. G'day, Jason, says Model Maker Mayhem, so I'm assuming Jason Woodland is an Australian. Oh, he says g'day from down under. So yes, Jason Woodland is from Australia. G'day, bro. Today I might get yourself comfortable. Which part of the land down under? Asks more Draka. We tend to get a lot of Australians in my chat. I like it. Raging Modeler says Minsk is a big dumb ranger and Boo is his giant miniature space hamster. No, that's not a joke. So he's not a rat of unusual size. Reference. Wayne Haywood is getting to the end of his Legion of Rebel Commandos. Belly roast beef with Yorkshire pud. What else have we got? Go for the eyes, Boo! Go for the eyes! Oh, near Brisbane. Near Brizzy. G'day. Right, I think we're up to date. So there we go. That's everyone who is in. So welcome. Don't forget to put down your bench and belly. Daddy asked the question. I need to sniffle my nose straight away because the lights are on and it makes my nose sniffly. Right. 17 minutes. And I'm about ready to go. Cool. Early for me, this. Woo. I mean, crack on with some work, not go away. Just sort my nose out. Right, there we are. Now, today I finished off all the little objective markers last week. I only had a couple of bits to clean up. So today we're doing some galvanic servo haulers. Yeah, it's yeah. It says servo haulers, but there's like one. So, yeah, there's one. Or is it two? Oh, no, there's two. There's two. That's all right. I'll let them off. We'll probably get these done today, possibly. Skill Model Muse says it's Father's Day today, so dinner is whatever Dad wants to have. I need to pop out and shop for it either way. Yes, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. It's the UK Father's Day here. I always get confused because we have the US one as well. I'm like, you know, because my brother lives in the States, so we get like Mother's Day cards a month after Mother's Day. It's like, what? Have I forgotten something? No, it's about. So yes, happy Father's Day to Dad and all the other fathers out there. TK was saying I got a lovely painted little painted thing from his daughter, but he still had to do the lawn. That kind of sucks. He's supposed to have a day off on Father's Day. Really, you are. Let's crack on. So we have to make our galvanic servo haulers. So we shall start by taking some pieces of the sprue. It's that lovely chocolate to brown plastic as well. A2 and A1 is the first parts of that we need. So we need A1. Is it that one of those two of those? A1 and A2. There we go. Right at this end. Now I don't imagine these being a complicated build, but I do imagine them being a complicated cleanup because when it comes to machinery and shiz, I can spend an hour trying to clean up all the seam lines and nubs because I hate seam lines and nubs. Mould lines, I should say, not seam lines. Mordraka says, just a point, keep the tracks off so you can paint the engine compartment. Ooh, yes, I shall keep that in mind. I shall loosely attach them then, loosely with looseness. Thank you. I will keep. I am kind of keeping an eye on what I need to not glue and glue when I'm doing these. So it's kind of always the way I work, really, especially with tabletop stuff, because you want to kind of. It's the weird thing. Most model kits, you'll obsessively plan sub-assemblies, but when it comes to Warhammer, you kind of just want to build the whole thing and then see if you can paint it afterwards. I don't know why, but like you're building a proper World War II tank, and you're thinking, well, I need to do this bit here because I can't paint this bit if I put that bit on there, and I'll leave this bit off, and I'll keep the hull separate. I'll put the hull off. You get a Warhammer tank, and you're like, build it, paint it. You don't think about that. I'm like, I'm just painting it now, painting it. I don't know why, but like Warhammer kits, they make all my painting worries and stresses go away. That's why I like painting them so much. We need A3 and A4. A3. That's A17. Nope, A3. Which bits are these now? Who said what? Who shot who with what now? What? A3 and A4. That's A17. That's A3. Oh, I see. The number for A4 is here. But there's also a number here for that. So that is for that, not that. Yeah, it gets a big. You know what they're like at Games Workshop. You know what they're like. Now I need to find out what did I miss anything on Colin's stream this morning, Colin and Dave, for the Sunday brunch, because I was busy editing and I didn't get a chance to watch. And I like to sit down and watch Colin's stream on this of a Saturday afternoon before I get going. But I was knee deep in editing, so did I miss anything on Colin's stream today? Do let me know. Do fill me in. I don't like missing out on my friend's Sunday content. I like Sundays because I get to do this in the afternoon, but I get to watch Colin in the morning and then Dad and Chris in the evening. So my day's kind of nicely rounded down. It's quite nice. Athelmont Nickel, paint it on the sprues. No. Don't do painting on the sprues, I don't. It's heresy for me, that is. Say screaming the paint off when you can cut them off the sprue. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I've never painted on the sprue. Well, no, I don't paint on the sprues. I just like to get the damn thing built. The whole point of what I'm doing at the minute anyway is because I haven't got space to have a billion sprues, because obviously every issue comes with one or two sprues. So what I'm doing, and the reason I've been doing this for the last few months every Sunday, is just to get all the models built as much as possible with some sub-assemblies, because I can basically get everything built and put them in Crusader cases and battle cases and my shelving unit, my display case. So I can get as much built as possible, and then when I've got the time in later on in the year, I can then start to film the painting process for everything. It's just easier for me to have, 100 built models that take up less space than 200 sprues, if you know what I mean. But it's just trying to get as much built as possible at the moment. Which is why I explained it before, but I stopped filming the painting process of these. I was filming them, but I stopped it because I was just following the magazine, which was boring and it wasn't that good. And I decided just to stop, get everything built, and then come back to painting them properly, not like in the magazine. Did you say heresy, brother? Get the flamer. The heavy flamer. Of all the good things that Games Workshop do, the one thing they've never been able to do well, in my opinion, is do the voices for Space Marines in their army, because they always sound rubbish. Because they basically just have, I mean, they have like 2 voice actors that do all the voices anyway, but they basically just get the voice record. They record the voice actor and then they put like a very slight delay on it to get that kind of metallic twangy delay, and it's like, really, that's what you're going with here? Like the most cheapest robotic delay. It's just terrible. I've never heard a Space Marine talk in anything that sounded good. It always sound terrible. They should sound ominous and scary, really, but they don't. They just sound like normal people with a slight delay on. Swig of coffee. Oh. My latest Wolfies have still not arrived. Come on, Royal Mail. Where is my package? Says Athel McNichol. Oh, no. Well, Simon, I've got some Space Wolves on. Oh, no, I've had them. Shut up. I was about to say I haven't had them yet. Greetings all, says Candygram. Welcome, Candygram. Spoon Glue says I need to get a camera for YouTube. Methinks, yes, get yourself a camera. However, handy tip, this is a webcam for the streaming. Don't use a webcam for the not streaming. If you're going to do streaming, get a webcam, obviously. If you're going to do proper filming that's not live, don't film it on a webcam, because these are great for streaming. They're garbage for anything else. And this is a C920, which is almost one of the best ones you can get. Not quite, but almost. And yeah, they're just garbage for actual pre-recorded stuff. Yes, there was a streaker, says Paul in Colin's stream. Oh man, miss out on the good stuff. Right, let's get some of these cleaner up. No, I'm not gonna go too crazy with these. If you remember, as I've said many times, every time we do one of these shows, this whole Warhammer Conquest subscription, I have received funding, helpful funding from my very good friend and patron George, who has made it possible for me to do this subscription. So we are going to be splitting it. He's going to get all the Space Marines, and I'm going to keep the Death Guard. But we don't know, or I don't know, we haven't really decided what's happening with the scenery and the vehicles and stuff yet. The props and markers and things. So I'm going to do a good paint job on them. But obviously my focus is going to be on George's Space Marines. Oh, I took a big gouge out of that. Never mind, it's weathered. It's weathered. My focus is going to be on the Space Marines. My Death Guard, I don't need to worry about too much. I can paint them nicely, but I don't have to do them as good as possible. Because, George is getting the Space Marines. Therefore, I need to do the best possible job I can on the Space Marines for him. But for the vehicles and stuff and these kind of scenery pieces, they don't need to be museum quality. So this is going to be sat on its track. So I'm not going to worry too much about the underside. Hello, I'm getting a text message. Hang on, I'm getting a news from our producer. Paul said to do it. Do what? I don't know what you did. But Paul said to do what? I'm not that far down the... Have you done something? What have you done, Dad? Oh, someone texted him. Oh, well, I had a knife in my hand. Okay. Text, yes. And then he texted me again to text me to clarify it was the text that he sent. Yes, Dad, I know you well, and you don't need Paul to tell you to do anything. We've all known Paul long enough to be tainted by his awkward streak, let's call it, because it's relatively family friendly. The conversation on this. Wow, Fox just put the stream on my phone while I made a brew that ad lasted 5 minutes. Wow. But he let it play through there. Thank you very much. Yes, if you do let the ads play through, it's a pain in the bum, but it's very nice because it helps me this channel out massively. It does help me. I know it's a pain in the bum, but hey, without ad revenue, I wouldn't be here. Well, I might be, but I wouldn't be here as much. If I somehow win the lottery, the first thing I do is get rid of monetization on these videos, because I won't need it then, will I? I don't like making you watch ads, but I do like to put food on the table. Yeah, 5 minutes. Some of the ads are a bit ridiculous. Scale Model Muse says that Scale Model says that Vamp should finally get his 3D printer tomorrow. Cool. Damn it, Stabity fail. Raging Modeler, convince me to order Reaper Chili Fudge for Model Making Guru. I wouldn't waste your money. Because although it's funny to watch me eat it a little bit on screen, if it is that bad, it might not even get eaten. It might just end up getting thrown away, because that's too hot for Mama Fox. And if it's not good for me to eat. Because that's the problem, you see. It's all funny on the video, but I suffer the consequences later on. So yeah, I'll do it for the video lulz. Of course I will. But it's not guaranteed I'll carry on afterwards if it's that detrimental to my daily activities. Sandalated. Big seam line right down the middle of tracks. Now we would be covering these in dirt and dust anyway, so it's not the end of the world if it's there a little bit. Oops, sorry, got my head in the shot there. Athol says, well, when you get an email from Games Workshop to say it's on the way, but expect 3 days for delivery, and that was a week ago, and we think someone has my order. Yeah, I mean, there are still possibly postal delays, but that's a bit ridiculous. But the good thing with GW is that they do have exceptionally good customer services. I mean, they are like awesome customer service. So, you know, I'd probably say just for, you know, as a common sense thing, why am I doing this on my... Do you know, hang on a minute. I'm doing this all wrong. I've got my special bit mat that Kenneth got me for just this thing. Hang on, let me get all the bits off. I forgot, I've not been sanding for a while. All them bits. So otherwise I have to alcohol my bench down later on. It's a pain in the bum. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I mean, normal kind of thing, routine really, is to give things 7 days. If they're like, you know, next day delivery, and then if it's not turned up, contact them. But yeah, they're pretty good. I've used their customer service a couple of times, and it's been spectacular. Even for, you know, Forge World are the same. I said the story before when I went to Warhammer World and bought the Macarius Vanquisher. The guy in the shop got the wrong one, because the boxes don't have any artwork on, they're just white boxes. He picked up the wrong box that had the wrong tank. He didn't notice the label on it. I didn't notice the label on it. I got all the way home and I was like, oh, that's the wrong tank. It's the downside of just having a white box with a very small label with what's in it on it. Honest mistake. So I mailed them back and said, yeah, I've come back and it's the wrong one. They went, no problem, send it back to us and we'll replace it. But let us know when you've sent it. So I went to the post office and posted it back. And I sent the receipt. I did a copy of the receipt and said, there you go, I've sent it back to you. And instantly, within 2 minutes, the reply came, brilliant, we've sent the new one out for you. I'm like, wow, you've not even received it back yet. Now, of course, I did have to pay postage on that, but I probably could have got my postage back as well, but I kind of forgot. But yeah, it's like, you know, I've had other good customer service experiences with them. They are really good. I was looking fairly, oh, there's a little bit there. Gross Models is in. Chris at Gross Models says, hello, sorry I was distracted by installing mods into the Skyrims. You've got a lot more choice. Chris has got now another version of Skyrim. He's picked up the PC version to do VR. Even though he's got, you know, PSVR. But the thing is, he's got a ridiculous embarrassment of riches for mods now on PC. Because on PlayStation you've got bugger all. On Xbox you've got more than bugger all, but still not as much as PC. Right, that's that. Sanded well enough. Anything that's left on there will be covered up by dirt and mud, I think. I wouldn't do that to you again, chap, says the Raging Modeler. No, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy it. It's funny. It's hilariously funny, and I do enjoy it. But if somebody sends me something that powerful, that hot, then it sometimes does end up just kind of being put to one side and then not touched again. So Which is why the durian thing was weird, because Mama Fox actually quite liked it. I was like, weird. I'll look at chat in a moment. I'm just knifing. Knifey. Ateris is in. Hello, Fox and friends. How are we all today? I am fine, thank you, Ateris. How is everyone today? Yeah, how are you all doing? I forgot to ask that. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. I'm fine and dandy. It's not too warm here today, so I've got the window open. Normally, if it's a really hot day outside, I can't open this window until the sun's gone around the other side of the house. It's cooled off a bit in here. So yeah, good day today. Got the window open. I can hear the little water features in the garden trickling away. I'm a fox buys all the time. Been busy working on bits and bobs, doing a pre-roll for a new streaming series, and doing planning some other bits and bobs. Tried to get some more time with the Falcon last few days, but I didn't get a chance, unfortunately. I need to get back to that. Falcon. What else has been going on? Nothing much else has been going on, to be perfectly honest. Just been busy doing bits and bobs, and as always, you know, real life gets into the equation somewhere, so that gets in the way of everything. That's not a water feature. It's next door peeing in your pond. If she could pee in our pond from her side, I'd be impressed, because there's at least a 7-foot fence between the two. That's some gymnastic ability, that is. Open window and pants optional. So Fox, wait a week and contact GW requesting replacement. If first order arrives, keep quiet. That's I couldn't do that myself. I've had that happen in the past where I've something's never turned up and I've got replacements, and then the original has turned up. And I'm too honest. I'm always like, hi, the thing you sent me that you replaced, the original's turned up. And I've got to be honest, a lot of places will sometimes just say, you know what, don't worry about it. It's fine. Just keep it. Our friend Paul, Team Inept in the chat, he ordered something from Forge World, and they sent him a Ragnar the Red, not the Ragnar the Red, that's Skyrim. What's the guy called? The Primarch. Anyway, they sent him a massive Primarch figure, and he's like, "That's really nice, but I didn't order that at all." But, oh right, really sorry. We'll send you the thing you ordered, and you can keep that. You know, big resin figure. I'm too honest though. I can't even play video games as the bad guy. So I could neither condone nor condemn such actions, to be perfectly honest. When I used to work in retail, we used to sell detailing products, and we always kind of took the opinion as a retailer, as a small retailer. You've got a choice. When somebody says, hi, I ordered this thing and it's not turned up, you've got a choice. You can either argue it back and forth, or say, well, sorry, it's nothing to do with us, it's Royal Mail, can't help you. Or you can just say, you know what, no problem, I'll send you another one, or I'll do you a refund, one or two. And we always erred on the side of it's easier and much better for customer relations if you just say, you know what, we'll give you a refund, or we'll send you another one. No quibble. Somebody says, hi, I ordered this thing and it's turned up and it's broken. A lot of places will be like, well, can you send us a photograph, and can you send us a video of it, and can you show us the box with the receipt so we can see how it turned up? We're just like, oh, sorry about that, we'll send you a fresh one out, there you go. And yeah, you get people taking the mickey with it, obviously you do. But other people see you doing that and they go, you know, those guys are cool because they sorted him out. Yes, Paul said he ordered from Games Workshop and they sent me a 4-year-old Magnus the Red. That's it. That's the one. And they said, because you've been honest, you can keep it. And that's the thing. If a company's good, they'll appreciate the fact that you've said, listen, you've sent me the same thing twice. You just keep it. I did that. What was it? I had something. I ordered a what do you call it? A camera mount arm off Amazon. And after a week, it hadn't turned up. And you've got to wait 48 hours with Amazon. So I sent them back and said, "Hi, this thing you've ordered, it says delivered, but it's not been left in my bin. It's not been left with a neighbour. It's not anywhere." They went, "Oh, not to worry. We'll refund it and just order another one." I said, "Yeah, okay, cool." It was like literally a 2-minute conversation. And then the replacement turned up. And then the next day, I happened to be looking out of the front door. And we've got like a front door and then a little front garden. And there's a big bush in the corner of the front garden. And I looked and I was like, "What's that in the bush?" And there was a cardboard box in the bush. And the first delivery had been delivered. The chump that delivered it literally pulled up outside the house and just threw it into a bush. Didn't knock on the door, didn't put it in the porch. Just didn't walk the 2 yards from the driveway, from the pavement to the door. Just threw it into this bush. And it had been sat there for like a week and a half, getting rained. I'm like, what the hell? That's just rubbish. Now, it's like 30 quid's worth of stuff, and I'm like, I know it's Amazon, and, but I'd contact them and said, "Hey, that thing that wasn't delivered, it turns out it was, but you guys are complete chud and just threw it in a bush, which is not where I expect it. I checked every way you'd expect it to go." And they're like, "Okay, just don't worry, just keep it." Cool. But then again, from Amazon's point of view, if it wasn't from them, if it was from a third-party seller, then they don't care. They'll just be like, "Yep, that third-party seller's a tool, or that delivery guy's a tool. Somebody will get their ass kicked somewhere." To me, they were like, "Just keep it," because they know that whatever the situation is that's caused a problem, it's inside baseball. It's how the sausage factory is, how sausages are made. It's like the customer doesn't care why something hasn't turned up or who's responsible. They just care what you're going to do about it. And a lot of places now will, instead of saying, "Can you send a picture? Can you do that?" they just say, "No worries, I'll refund it / replace it," and then they'll deal with the issues internally. I think that's the better way to go. Helps build trust with your customers. Just threw it in a bush. That's DPD or Hermes for you. No, DPD are always really good. I think it was probably Yodel. Yeah, Yodel. I had something ordered once, and I got a thing saying, "Thanks for your order. It's been dispatched. It's been dispatched with Yodel today." And I mailed the place back and said, "Hi, can you just cancel it? Because no." Well, they said no, actually, they didn't dispatch it. They said it's being picked and it will be dispatched by Yodel. We'll let you know. Send you a thing for Yodel when it's dispatched. And I mailed them back and said, "Actually, no. Please cancel the order. I refuse to have anything delivered by Yodel because it will never turn up." And they're like, "Oh, okay, well, we've sent it by raw mail instead then." I was like, "Okay, that'll do." Yodel are garbage. Oh. At least they were. This is going back a few years. Doodle-doodle-doo. Up to... I'm the same way. I always play the good guy in games. However, several friends said they had a great time playing as a total bastard in Fallout 3. Yeah, I can't. If I'm playing a game, I can't. Even if I know it's a video game and it's not real, but I can't even take the sarcastic answers in a game. I'm playing Fallout or something. I can't do the sarcastic stuff because even then I feel bad. I'm too much of a good guy, and that's just my rubbish problem. That is my problem. You see, I cannot do the bad guy thing. It's just not my nature. Where are we up to? DPD for me are good. So is the Hermes lady in the village. UPS have been good too. Yodel, I avoid them with a 10-foot barge pole with a pointy bit on the end, says model making. No, I've never had a problem with DPD. I've always found DPD to be really reliable. When we used to work in that retail store, we used to use DPD all the time. DPD and who are the other guys? Some other company, I've forgotten who they are now. It's only been 7 years and I've forgotten. And DPD guy was always really nice. He'd stop and have a brew while we loaded up his truck. I like DPD guys. What's this? I want 600. Oh no, I'll stick with the 800. I've also never had an issue with Royal Mail, to be perfectly honest. I've, posted out many models to people and things over the years. Royal Mail, never had a problem. The situation I have at the minute is normally is when I if somebody buys one of my builds, I'd post it out via Royal Mail because I just go to the post office, give the guy a box, and there you go, pay him some money, and it's happy times. I don't have a printer to print out my own shipping labels, and to be honest, it costs 1 billion times more through courier sometimes, and it's a lot more stressful for me because I'm there going, I don't understand what I need to fill out now, and this is all really complicated, and I panic, and then I go to the post office and say, please do all the thinking for me and just write some words on this label and send it to me. Send it out, please. Never had a problem. Had a few issues with Dad, says Raging Modeler. I think he means DPD. But Hermes were not very good. Lovely people, though. Never had anything to yodel. I bought concert tickets at the registered post and they were just left half in the letterbox. Not happy, so glad they didn't get pinched, says Jason Woodland. Yeah. Yes, one of those things. I mean, for some reason when Mama Fox buys stuff on Amazon, this is the weird thing, right? I buy things on Amazon, they just turn up. Mama Fox buys stuff on Amazon, it turns up 3 days late and she panics because it's not arrived. I'm like, don't even, just forget about it. It'll be fine, don't worry. I don't know why. She has all the problems in the world. Swig of coffee? No. Yes, Raging Modeler says, I've had a few issues with Dad, and Dad's like, what have I done? Right, let's get these assemblated. A3 and A4. That's going to need some cleanup on there. Going to have a big seam line right down the middle, but we can clean that up later, no big problem. Yeah, that's probably going to get covered up. I don't know how much of this is going to get covered up, but we can clean it up as we go. It's no problem. Just get rid of these sandy bits. Yeah. Get off my little thing. There you go. As if by magic. Thank you, Kenneth, for these. My regular postal people have finally learned to deliver anything larger than a letter directly to the house, not to the boxes. Too much goes missing from there, says Scale Model Muse. Ross Medlock says, I've just received a wireless Xbox controller from Amazon that I never ordered. It was under my name and address, but when I looked at my account, it doesn't show. That's weird. Unless somebody's ordered it for you. It could be. Are you a dad? Could it be a Father's Day gift? Has somebody gifted you it? I don't know. I know, like me and Dad and Paul, like we all send stuff to each other sometimes on Amazon. It's like, well, I haven't ordered. Oh, it's not. Oh, yeah, it's not from me. Yeah. Spiddy Curator's in. Welcome. He says, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Spid. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that controller. I mean, it's addressed to you. There is law, though. See, this is where it gets tricky. That if you haven't ordered something and something gets sent to you, technically, legally, you have to return it or let them know at least and ask them what they want to do. Apparently, you're not allowed to keep something gets sent to you by mistake. You're not allowed to keep it. And the other more sinister thing, of course, is it could be that you've suffered identity theft and somebody's ordered something, but of course it comes to your address. They've got into your account. So first thing I would do is go and change all your passwords just to be safe. Probably highly unnecessary, but I would do it anyway, just to be no harm in being safe. And then, yeah, I'd probably just let them know. In that situation, legally, you kind of have to let them know. Like, because the thing of, I was at home and this TV just got delivered and I haven't ordered it because basically somebody put the postcode in wrong on an order and got the address or something like that. Or there have been people who've had things addressed. Sometimes Amazon's system just spews out a picking order when there isn't actually an order. Reading a story of a woman who's like this 40-inch plasma TV turned up, and she's like, okay, cool, I'll have that then, thank you very much. But she hadn't ordered it, and she had to give it. She sold it, I think, if I remember the story rightly. She sold it on, and then Amazon like, actually, we need you to give that back because that was a mistake. And she did the old, well, it's not my fault you sent it. And they were like, actually, in law, you kind of have to give it back. I think, anyway. Model Maker may amuse. Yeah, some gink in Thailand tried to hack my account a week ago. Instant report and password change. Yeah, there is also that a possibility. So first thing you would do is change your password anyway. Because that is a warning sign, a potential warning sign that somebody has been in your account and ordered something and just forgotten to change any shipping details. The other thing they do as well, don't forget, one other thing is that what people will sometimes do to make money and to get free stuff is they will hack your, say, Amazon account, for example. Hack your Amazon account. They know where you live because they've got your access to your account. They hack your account. They place an order. And what they hope is that it will turn up on the doorstep while you're out at work. Somebody will put it in the porch or by the door. And then they just, when the delivery guy drops it off, they just run out, grab it and go. So that's how people can hack into your account, use your address as a shipping address and still profit from it. So yeah, change your password straight away. Just change all your passwords. I would strongly recommend everybody get a password manager of some sort. I got one about 8 months ago now. One of the off-the-shelf jobs, password software manager thing. And I'll tell you what, god damn, it's fantastic. So much easier to use and better and safer and secure. So yeah, if you haven't used one already, get yourself a password manager of some sort. Now I'm not going to do these on as was advised, because let's just have a look and see what it actually looks like. The back end. Line up your back end, fit lads. There you go. See, that's fine. I can paint that. I mean, off. I can, start that again. I can leave that off, then glue it into place later, no problem. Because that will get in the way of them bits down there. Them bits down there. So, yeah, we won't glue those bits on. So that was some good advice. Whoever gave me that, I've forgotten now. Thank you very much. We'll leave those off. I've got some other vehicles that I've done up as well, some like Orc stuff, and I've got them in bits because I know if I put something, this particular component on, I can't paint another bit. So, yeah. Model Making Mayhem. Same location, tried my Xbox, Ubisoft, and also my Gmail as well. Yes. Phil Lewis is in. Afternoon all. Welcome, Phil. But you're welcome, says Mordraka. Thank you. It was you. Thank you very much. I may have taken delivery of a real grade MS. I'll start again. Real grade MS06F Zaku 2. I like Zaku 2s. Right, so that was those two bits. We need to put the big spoily thing on the front now. This bit. Diddly bomb, diddly bomb, diddly bomb. Let's get this piece off. Snip. I'm not even going to look for the piece number because I'm pretty confident. Now, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't think this is the case, but it wouldn't surprise. I'm almost disappointed that somehow this vehicle isn't actually a real person with a vehicle built around them. Yeah, Xbox isn't secure at all. No gaming platforms are safe. Tired of Thief messing things up. Yeah, it's. I think the problem with I have no idea about PlayStation Network, but with Microsoft, a lot of it is social hacking, where they call up support and pretend to be you and try and get round the security questions. But that's the thing. If someone knows your address, once all a hacker needs is your address, basically, and your name, and they can do get a lot of access. The weak spot is always the person on the end of a customer support phone. When somebody phones up and says, "Hi, my name's person's name and my address is blah blah blah, and I can't get in. What's your password? I can't remember." So they'll ask them some other questions, and I'll just forge the way around it. So yeah, But yeah, I've got a password manager now, and it's just great. It means I can come up with the most arcane, ridiculous, complicated passwords and not have to worry about having to remember them, which is great, because I don't remember anything. I don't even remember who I am when I wake up. I'm like, what? Where am I? Who am I? What am I doing? What? Doesn't matter what platform or whatever it is, everything's vulnerable somehow to something. Until we get proper, you know, full-on quantum encryption type shenanigans going on, everything's vulnerable. Not that I know much about such things. Nub. I did make the mistake for a long time of having like 1 or 2 passwords for everything, and that was like, yeah, that was a dumb idea. I don't have that now, just before anybody gets any ideas. Yeah, no. There are no shared passwords. Stay safe out there, folks. My box, Xbox, is the most secure ever. It's still in a box, sealed and unpurchased. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about more fun things. Remember, it's my stream is always an open AMA, so ask me anything. As long as it's not religion and politics, I'll happily talk about anything for 3 hours. Ask me questions. Make sure to put your question in capital letters, of course, if you want to get my attention, or a super chat if you really want to get my attention. And maybe ask questions that other people in the chat can answer as well. Have a good old talk in the chat. That little theme line there, not quite gone yet. Not quite gone yet. Of course, there is one downside to your technique there, Spid, that your Xbox is the most secure ever, because it means that you don't have an Xbox. This is, of course, a grievous shortfall. I need a super softy soft. Super softy soft sponge. Let's have a 2500. I've never used a 2500 grit. It's weird, you know, because I was using the UMP sponges for a long. These are the sponges that Kenneth sent me. Thank you very much, Kenneth. I was using the UMP sponges for so long, and of course it doesn't print on them what grit they are, so I kind of forgot, and I was always like, you know, oh look, this one must be like something like, I don't know, 500 grit, and this one is probably like 1200 to 2000 grit because it's a soft sort of buffing sponge, and it's like, no, that's 220 and that's like 180, and I'm like, wow, that's just rough as that's, because I use that for finishing off, not shiny finishing, but just cleaning up. And yeah, I have no idea of the set values. But now I know, because it's got a big number on it there, you see. There you go. Scale model muse, I game on the computer. I don't need the clutter on the desk otherwise. I game on the console, but my console sits under the TV in a little cupboard hidden away. Thank you very much. No clutter. AMA, what English word retains the same pronunciation even if you take away 4 of its 5 letters? Ooh. 4 of its 5 letters. What? English word, take away 4 of its letters. Got the same pronunciation. I don't have any idea at all. Let's see what the chat comes up with that one. Or is this like a trick question, isn't it? We TK wins. What? TK wins. This is a play on the word Is this a play on the word sounds? I don't. Mark says Q. Oh yeah, Q. Oh, Q. Yes. Okay. Q. Q-U-E-U-E, which if you take it away, is just still Q. Very good. Very good. I don't know such things. I don't do lateral thinking. Sometimes Edward Depono would be proud of me, and sometimes he'd be spinning in his grave. Little tiny mold line. Anyway, let's have another question. What Warhammer 40k army would you love to build? Deathcore. And I do have a few bits and bobs, but yeah. Deathcore. I've got some dudes and I've got some vehicles, but I'd love to actually build any army, but the problem is I'm so sporadic with it that I end up like I build a few Space Marines and then I think, right, even my like unending force of the Holy Contrivance is kind of fallen by the wayside a bit because of everything else. I'll probably never build consistently enough to get a full army on. I think I would quite like to do orcs, but there's a lot of orc models that I don't actually like that much. Some of the actual figures are quite old. I think they need to do a lot more stuff, to do a lot more releases for orcs. Necrons, if I can get one of the new boxes before the scalpers, says Beyond Hope. Oh, these are all riddles. I can't do riddles, I'm not that smart. George, Helen and Steve are drinking coffee. Bert, Karen and Dave are drinking soda. Using logic, is Elizabeth drinking coffee or soda? George, Helen and Steve are drinking coffee. Bert, Karen and Dave are drinking soda. It's probably really obvious. Raging Modeler says, oaks are great fun. Oaks. I think it means orcs. Scale Model Muse. Okay, time to do stuff later on. Thanks for coming in, Muse. Take care, buddy. That's still got a big C line on it. Am I on screen? Yes, I'm on screen. Just checking where I was on camera. Yeah, I think I probably would have a greater interest in orcs if they had a wider selection of more recent models and not a reliance on quite so many old kits. I've got some of the, the new vehicles, the Squig Rucker Truck Squig Buggy and some of those custom booster blaster and things like that, and they look fantastic. But there's a lot of old crap in that line. They need to reinvent that. And I know the new box set has some more orcs in there, but still. I don't understand how logic will get you to determine. I hate things like that because I never figure them out. If IQ tests were just those kind of logic puzzles, I'd have an IQ of a tree. Quite literally. Yeah. Like that, there's a classic one. It's like a plane crashes, like a passenger plane with 300 passengers on it crashes and everyone's killed, but it crashes right on the border between France and Spain. So the question is, if it crashes right on the border, which country would have the most survivors? Which country would see the most survivors, France or Spain? Think on that one. Now that isn't a logic puzzle. If anybody gets that right. Here's a riddle. We've had Xbox, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. What's the next number? Xbox Series X. Series X. I think that's cleaned quite nicely. Spain says model. So model making mayhem thinks that most of the survivors will be in Spain. Anybody concur? Looks like a cool train now. Look, I like that. Didn't need to worry about cleaning up that seam line. I'm going to go in there, so I shall glutate this. Activate the glutations. Border of France and Spain. Spain because it's a bigger country. There's Jamie Brown using some logic there. I like that. Dad says, Scaly Model says, right must pop to daughters and deliver a ukulele for granddaughter because, like you do. Pick up Father's Day things. Please don't be an Ed Force One. Not that I'm ungrateful, but well, you know. yeah. Dad's worst nightmare is to get an Ed Force One because he's had many already. Yeah, not a great model. That would just be sadness. And I'll give you the answer, shall I? I think maybe most of you weren't listening when I was talking, so probably didn't notice it. Oh, Mordrak, depend if it crashed on the main segment or on the board of a river segment. Nah. Again, using logic. We've got Spain because it's a bigger country. Beyond Hope and Teeks actually get it right. Yes, there are no survivors. If you listen carefully when I said it, I said a plane crash is killing all on board. And then I asked where would the survivors be. It's not a logic question. It's more just a comprehension where you're paying attention kind of puzzle. You put a little a trip point in there that most people don't notice, and they overthink it. Like this country's bigger or that. It's like nope, there's no survivors. I like little puzzles like that. But whenever I see a bit, Dad. Whenever I see a puzzle, even a logical one, I approach it like that and think to myself, there's something not right. This has got to be a trick. I always assume a puzzle is a trick question when it isn't always. Right, so that's going to go on there like that. It's kind of mint this. I quite like this thing. Big chuggy engine. Because Beyond Hope says, heard a different version, Flox. He says, plane crashed on the border of France and Spain. Where did he bury the survivors? That's the more blatant, obvious version of it, where you're basically saying to people, no one survives. Where did he bury the survivors? Whereas mine was I was being a bit more devious, I think. Yeah, so we're not going to glue those tracks on because I want to get to all that lovely detail in there. Nice engine. I wasn't paying attention, says Model Making Mayhem. No, nobody ever is. Do not trouble yourself, my friend. I need A6, which is an exhaust. Drink a coffee. Yum. Speak of the coffee. What we do? Have I missed of the chat somewhere? Where are we up to? Cat jumped. I'm trying to catch up. Reggie Modeler, you will love escape rooms. Free Tuesday if you fancy a go, mate. Yes, I would quite. I see what you mean. Oh, yes, I've got you. I can't go anywhere for escape rooms. I know there's virtual escape rooms. I haven't spoken to anybody about that yet. I just don't have the time at the moment, right at this exact moment. Doing A6. Like the motorway, but not a motorway because it's an exhaust pipe. There's A6. Look for the number. That's the easiest thing to do. But then again, it's a Games Workshop sprue, so don't look for the number. There it is. There she is. Not so injured as we were led to believe. Yes, in my mind, Khan sounds like a Khajiit, obviously. Clearly. Just been on eBay and got my girlfriend a wooden leg for Christmas. Don't worry, it's just a stocking filler. Says Beyond Hope. Yeah, Teeks will be right back. Now we're doing exhaust. So anyway, yes, how is it? I hope you're all well. Hope everybody's doing okay. Hope you're all faring nicely. Scraping lumps. I'm trying to think what else we can talk about. What's been happening here? Not a great deal going on here. I've caught up to date with Thexwing. If you joined my live stream the other day, I was streaming that. It got to the point where I'm like, I've got like 9 issues to do now. I'm not going to film it because that's a lot of work, and I'm just really following the magazine. It's interesting, but it's much more fun if I just do it as a live stream from now on, because I can interact with you guys and we can have a laugh while I'm doing it. So those X-Wing, that for the build part at least, the X-Wing stuff will now be live streamed. Because it's basically, you know, I could spend 2 days doing a proper film video, but I'm just doing what the magazine tells me to do, which is not very interesting. I say 2 days, it's like a day, because you know, editing and everything else in place as well. Or I could just sit down for a couple of hours of an afternoon, do what the magazine says, and hang out with you guys in the chat. Much better, because then, you know, people can heckle me, and it also means you get to see how bad I am at actually doing stuff. If you watched it, you'll have realised that I really suck at the actual building part. When I, you know, you watch my videos and it's all pre-recorded, and I can edit out all the tomfoolery, and it looks like I know what I'm doing. You get me in real life, you realise I'm absolutely useless at any kind of building and construction. I'm a painter. That's what I do. Paul Di Tommaso is in. Hey, Paul. Right, here we go. Mordracker, AMA, okay, lurkers, what Games Workshop or Forge World model are you looking to get next? Yeah, if anybody's watching this, by the way, if you are watching this, you can see the chat here. That's not the live, that is like 30-second delayed chat. It's just an archive of the chat. So people who are watching and can't access the chat can actually see. Or people who are not watching it live somewhere else can actually see what I'm responding to. But if you are watching this live, do come and join the chat if you're not in the chat. Come and say hello. Nobody's going to bite. They're all friendly. Everybody in chat's lovely. It's happy good times from all. Yeah, come and say hello. Because these whole streams, it's really about the chat. Let's be honest. Especially right now while the world's on fire, and unless you're my neighbours from a few doors down who decide to have like a party in their garden with like 35, 40 people all shouting at 2 in the morning, which I'm pretty sure isn't allowed. You know, most people are keeping themselves to themselves and a bit bored and lonely, so come and hang out. If you're watching on a mobile device, excuse me, if you're watching it on a mobile device like a tablet or a phone, and you can't see where the live chat is, if you're on Chrome on your mobile device, click the little 3-button menu and select Request Desktop Version or Desktop Site or Desktop Page. Request Desktop Page, I think it is. That will load the desktop version as opposed to the mobile version that you're probably looking at, and that includes the live chat. Or it might just be that the chat is down under the video. So if you're watching on a mobile device, just scroll down below the video. It might just be down there. Do join in. I love you all dearly, and it's even nice when we can hang out and talk. So yeah, lurkers, what Games Workshop or Forge World kit are you looking to get next? I'm not looking to get any kits at the moment because I've got so many things in my stash that I've got nowhere left to put anything new. Also, I'm trying not to spend the money. And I've got a backlog of things I need to build. So I'm not looking to get anything new, to be perfectly honest. If I was looking forward to something, it'll be the day. The only thing I'm looking forward to is the day that Games Workshop say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make plastic Deathcore Krieg. Because then I will just have to get a bank loan to buy all of it. Every single bit. And you might say it'll never happen, but you might say that, but you might have thought we'd never get a plastic Baneblade, but we did. Yeah, hey Paul, hope you're doing well, mate. I know you're probably at work. Spiddy Curate says, how many Germans did it take to change the light bulb? And Jason Woodland says 9. Spid says, correct, Paul. Beyond Hope says, this chocolate velociraptor crisis has problems for Disney. Pinewood Studios are limiting Snow White's dwarves to groups of 6. One of them isn't happy. Model making mayhem is looking forward to Gazgul next. Or getting Gazgul. Raging Modeler wants Nagash, Bloodthirster of Khorne, or the new Gazgul. Speedy Curate says, for your information, that was told to me by a German friend. My favourite German idiom. I know very few. I had a German girl that I knew who was German for a while, and she taught me some idioms, all of which I've forgotten, apart from one which I'm about to butcher. So apologies to any German speakers out there. If I remember rightly, it's Der Fuchs ist schlau und stellt dumm. Bei Menschen ist dies andersrum, which is the fox is smart but acts dumb, whereas for most people it's the other way around. When you translate it to English, it doesn't work at all. And with me, it's the other way. I act smart, but I'm really dumb. Yeah. Der Fuchs ist schlau und stellt dumm. Bei Menschen ist dies andersrum. Right, I need to make sure this doesn't interfere with things. I need to put the exhausting pipes on, but I don't want to interfere with the traculations if these need to go on first or afterwards. So it says to put the tracks on first and then the exhaust, which is a good sign. If I put exhaust on there, I can get that on with the tracks on, which means happy FaceTimes. If I put that on, I can then get the tracks on later. Yes, indeed. I think, yeah, should be fine. That'll be no problem at all. Das ist richtig. Fiontape, sorry, Fox. You knew a girl who was German for a while. What was she the rest of the time? Yes, that was a very badly composed sentence. I knew a German girl for a while. It's probably a better way to put it. Yeah, so I think we can get that on. Oops. Let's just do it properly. Yeah, I line up Tholes with other things. There you go. I think we can just assume, can't we? For some reason, I can get the tracks on perfectly, unless I put the exhaust on, in which case I can't coordinate my hands to actually do anything. I become Edward Spoonfingers. Edward Spanner Hands. There we go. That goes on. Yeah, that's no problem. I can get that exhaust on now. There we go. Need to clean it up? No. Doodle doo doodle doo doodle doo doo. A little bit of the gluey glues. Keep that locked in. Awesome. There we go. What's black and white and red all over and not a newspaper, says Spid. Jamie says a panda. Beyond Hope says penguin roadkill. And Spid says sunburned penguin. Yeah. You know what? Penguins are not as cool as puffins. And you know why? Because they're not puffins. That's the major PR problem they've got right there. They're not puffins. If they were puffins, they'd be as cool as puffins. But they're not, so they can't. Did anyone pre-order the new elves in Age of Sigmar this weekend? I'm surprised it's still in stock, says a terrorist. I haven't seen anything about that. Someone who does model making for a YouTube channel, I'm completely out of the loop for model making, especially Games Workshop stuff. A puffin is a toucan wannabe. Nonsense. Toucans are cool and all, but they're not as cool as puffins, which are just vastly more cool. A8. That one. But yes, I have watched that guy's video, that guy on YouTube that's got a toucan. And he does the really clickbaity thumbnails, but his toucan's quite cool. When he gives it fizzy water, it's quite funny. A7 is the big grabby hand. Big grabby hand. Hand of grabtaculations. Oh. Now I'm not being too prissy and careful with these, getting them off the spray. You know, I'm using the big honking Games Workshop cutters, which are like, you know, it's like taking a chainsaw to crack a nut. Or like taking a scorpion tank to kill a grunt, but there you go, Halo joke. But it's going to be a battered and beaten piece of equipment. It's going to be a knackered old servo hauler. So I'm not worried if I, you know, take a few chunks out with the nippers here and there, if I go too close, because then it just gives it that kind of used look. Baneblade and Lord of Skulls are two kits I'd like to get next. Baneblade, absolutely. Although I've got to be honest, I'm really looking forward to doing my Baneblade, but what I'm looking forward to doing more is my Forge World Macarius Vanquisher, which just looks, when I look at it, it just makes me moist in all the right ways. That, you know, in the right ways that a model would make you kind of moist. It gives me a little bit of a model making trouser tent going on there when I see my Macarius Vanquisher. It just looks so awesome. It's got this perfect vibe of World War One and World War Two tank goodness combined with the deathcore aesthetic. It's just, oh, it's just fantabulous. Look at the fantabulosity. And that gets me more excited than my Baneblade. I know, heresy, I know. For a laugh, watch YouTube videos about dogs eating lemons or cats with cucumbers. I read a thing about that. That it's actually, it was saying that it actually suggests people don't do that. The cats with cucumbers, apparently, I mean, it's going back a lot of years, but apparently the cats with cucumbers thing is more a behavioural thing because it sees that kind of shape of object as in the same way that it would see a snake. That's why cats freak out, because they think they, you know, to a cat it's snake shaped, and their instincts about snakes kick in, about, you know, long wiggly things. So it's kind of a bit torturous to a cat to do that. I don't know the whole thing about lemons. I don't know what that's about. That's just dogs being weird, I think. But yeah, apparently we're saying you shouldn't do that with cats because it's actually kind of cruel. It's like putting a man in a cage and he thinks there's a shark in there with him, or a lion or something. Imagine if we, you know, were not smart enough to recognise that the thing in front of us was not like a lion, and we thought it was a lion, and we just absolutely crap ourselves and panic, think we're about to die. Apparently that's the same thing with cats and cucumbers. Apparently why cats don't like hoses as well. And that's another thing I've noticed. Similar thing with birds and garden hoses. Because I've noticed when I'm, you know, if I'm doing stuff in the garden, the little twitty birds and the wood pigeons and stuff and the doves, they're all happily bobbling around in the garden while I'm pottering about doing stuff. They're not really bothered by me. They'll sit on the feeder and snarf away all the food while I'm fiddling around doing stuff. But if I get the garden hose out, and that garden hose, because I'll fill up the pond occasionally, so I'll just, you know, trail the hose all the way along the garden, and it's yellow and black striped, like a hose. And I notice that when that hose comes out, the birds just vanish. They just go, zoop, gone, and they don't come out. Even the squirrels they just disappear until that hose goes away again. And I kind of realised it's probably they see it as a snake. They don't know it's a garden hose. They just see this big, massive snake that's all yellow and black striped. And all their instincts are like, run away, run away. So they just steer clear until the threat. And I noticed that sometimes the magpies are shouting a lot when I'm doing that. And it didn't trick me at first. A few weeks ago, I'm like, the magpies do shout a lot more when the hose comes out. So I tried it out a few times, and it really was when the hose came out. So yeah, they must see it as a, they must see that as a snake and therefore a threat or a predator, and just steer clear. Candygram says, I tried to feed one of my dogs a baby carrot. She politely put it on the floor. I picked it up and gave it to her again, and she slung it right at me and proceeded to give me a death stare. Athos says, when I get my order, I've got a Storm Wolf to build, then a Repulsor. Yeah, Storm Wolf's a really nice build. That was fun. It's good, silly fun. And I have to admit, I'm so special that I didn't realise until... I've got a little wish list on Amazon of stuff that I'm going to get around to ordering at some point. And I just do it on Amazon, or, you know, because it's a place to remind me what I want to get in the future. Like, you know, you've got like a list of kits I want to get, and an Amazon wish list is a kind of a handy place just to store things. So it's got all kinds of things on it. When I get it from GW, but or through Goblin, which makes more sense because I get it cheaper. Yeah, I've got Archaon in there, and I've got the Cinch one as well. The what's the big birdie dude kit? I don't know Zinch that well, but it's the big It's the big dude with the birdie head, and it's an awesome looking statue. Come back, Fox, we miss you. What? Where? What? I don't understand. What? Has the stream fallen over? I missed something? Uh-oh, buffering. Wait, have I gone? Are we live still? Are we... YouTube is bugging about today. Lord of Change. That's it, Lord of Change. Am I still live, by the way? I'm not showing any drop frames, so it may well be YouTube and not me. You're back? Yeah, I didn't go anywhere. Didn't go nowhere. If I'd fallen over, Dad would have sent me a text saying, "Stream died." It's like playing Dark Souls or something. Stream falls over, and I just get a text that goes, "You died." Stream died. Yeah, so don't forget, of course, folks, if you are picking up Warhamstery kits, I don't honestly know. You may have to check. I don't know if they're open yet. I think they might be open for delivering online orders. But if you're looking at picking up some Games Workshop stuff and you're doing it online rather than, you know, going to a local Warhammer store or something like that, go and check out my friends at goblingaming.co.uk. The link is in the description below the video. Use the link that's in the description below the video, because not only will you spend 20% less, it's 20% off RRP for all Games Workshop stuff, but also if you use that link in the video description, that's my affiliate link, and it tells them I sent you, and I get a little bit of tiny income from that. It doesn't cost you anything extra. I just get a little tiny bit of commission off that. So if you're looking to get some Games Workshop stuff, and it's a bit pricey, and you're thinking, it's a bit pricey, go and have a look at Goblin. It's 20% off everything. Everything. Beyond Hope says, Goblin not open to the public yet. They're only doing online retail. Yeah, that's cool then. I couldn't quite remember. I knew they were doing online retail. So they are taking orders online for postage. They're not just not letting people in. But yeah, if you're looking at getting some GW stuff, go to my good friends at Goblin. It was 20% cheaper than retail price, than RRP. Like, what's a Baneblade normally? 90 quid? It's like, I don't know, 75 quid at Goblin. So don't quote me on that price, but you're saving bigly. Right now, if you are, you know, we're all struggling a bit financially at the minute, so if you are a bit pushed for money and you want to get a kit, go check it out. But use my link. Use that link. You don't have to, but I really love it if you did, because it does help them out. It does help me out massively. It's another way you can support me while getting cool stuff. Doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me put food on my table. The Xiphon pattern interceptor at Forge World looks cool, and I want see, I don't like working with resin. Resin's a nightmare fuel for me because I hate it. It's too fiddly and complicated, and I just want to, I'm not a builder, as I've said many times, I'm not a builder, I'm a paint. So I want to be able to just go blah 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 blah, build, paint. I want to spend 5 minutes building and 6 weeks painting, and resin doesn't allow me to do that most times. But I'm with the 2 tanks I've got, the Vanquisher and the Bernie one. It kind of looks like it won't be that complicated, and I have seen some Forge World kits that, despite them being resin, I'm like, oh, they look like silly fun. There's a little tiny cargo ship that's like this big. It's like one pilot and that's it, and it's like a little cargo pod air flyer. It's got no weapons at all. It's purely civilian. It's just, and it's like, that's so cute. I don't know what it is. I don't know why you would ever use it in a game, because it's got no weapons. It's not a military vehicle. I know not. DD is cleaning up on the fiddly mechanical bits. So yes, I'm not in a situation where I'm going to be adding anything to my stash right at the moment. I just haven't got this. More than anything else, I don't have the space. I literally don't have the space to put anything. which is why over the last few mailbags I've said it's really nice you're sending me stuff, but can you hold off for a bit? Send me food. I can eat food. If you want to send me something, I can eat food, and that's fine. But don't send me kits because I've got nowhere to put them. Literally nowhere. The entire spare room is just full of models and kits and all kinds of stuff. Model Making Mayhem says big order, big monies. Yeah. Yes, it does help me out massively if you use Goblin. If you use my affiliate link, you're shopping at Goblin. They are really cool guys as well. Don't get me wrong. I met up with them and I wouldn't have actually gone for any kind of affiliate thing set up if I hadn't liked them. I met with them and sat with them, and they're really cool guys. I've used them before. Always been really good service. But, you know, I always say when I do, like, you know, put things in my Amazon store, I wouldn't put things in my Amazon store that I haven't got some experience of directly myself. And, you know, they are really cool guys. Check them out. 20% off, man. 20% off RRP. Even if you couldn't stand the guts, it's still 20% off RRP. Why would you want to not save 20% off cost of Games Workshop? Yeah. This is a fiddly bit, isn't it? Jason, talking about cost of things in Australia. Jason says, you want to see pricey, check out GW Aussie prices. Natera says, in Australia, it's like, would you like a Titan or an actual house? Yeah. You guys always get screwed over there, though. I know Australians always get gouged on prices for things, but is it the same for Kiwis? Do people in New Zealand get the same kind of shafty end of the stick when they get pricing, or is that not quite as bad? I don't know. Do we have anyone in from New Zealand? Are you there? Can you hear me, mother? Help put noms on Fox's table. It's the right thing to do. Oh, you know it's the right thing to do, says Candygram. Thank you very much. Yes. Where's my brush? Okay. I like the way they designed this to sort of look like it's a real little cogwheels and sprockets and pistons and things. And it looks like if you made it out of constituent parts, it would actually work. They put that thought into it. It's not just generic bits blobbed together. Size of the Forge World Titan. You could live in it, motorize it, and you could drive it to work. Yes. I was actually surprised when I went to Warhammer World and into the actual Forge World store. I was surprised actually at how not big the Titans are. You think they're going to be like 15 feet. You have this image in your mind of how tall they are and how big, but when you see them in real life, they're not actually that big. They are big, don't get me wrong, but they're not as big as you think. You have a sort of image of them in your mind. Down here it's Titan body or house, Titan weapon options or firstborn. Baldy Tomasa says, I'll see if I can find some real Canadian maple fudge. It is the best maple syrup in the world, is Canadian maple syrup. So combine that with fudge. Oh, happy days. My lunch has arrived, noms, says Nim. Nim, we need details. You can't just say lunch has arrived. You need to not eat it for a few moments and type out in words. Use your finger words. Delay the meal. I know it's delayed gratification, but it's the marshmallow test. 5-year-olds can pass it. You can pass it. I think the Kiwis copy it too. They also have a higher GST rate than us. That doesn't help. Is that like a general services tax or something? General state tax or something? Like a VAT equivalent, I guess. And why do Aussies and Kiwis get such a bad end of the stick there. Is it just because you're far removed from all the main centres of commerce? Like, you're not within spitting distance of Europe or North America. Is that the problem? The cost of getting stuff to Australia and New Zealand? Because I know your nearest big trading partners are basically China and Japan, so I'm assuming it's just the cost of getting stuff that means you pay a fortune. Nim says, cheeseburger, fries, and a chocolate and peanut butter milkshake. I did say this before. Oh, I missed that. I do apologise. You may now eat. You may now. Eating may commence. Have you finished yet? I would have done. I would have finished already. You're right, Paul. Canadian maple fudge is one of my most favourite things ever, says Kennedy Graham. Fried rice on the heat, chili almost ready to nibble on. Nibble on your chili. Dinner tonight, what are we having? I says to Mama Fox, go in the freezer and find something to defrost. Just pull something out of the freezer that we can defrost. So she's pulled out a pack of sizzle steaks. Yes. Which I think I will chop up and fry with rice and onions and other bits and bobs and veggies and carrot. Not carrot, I haven't got carrots, but get some onions and cabbage and chopped up steak in the frying pan with some rice and some other ingredients to make it awesome. We shall have a hearty rice-based meal. Goods and services tax, there you go. Quanaman is in. Hi, Lewis. Lewis is in as well then. Afternoon. I'll start that again, shall I? I read him in the wrong order. Lewis is in. Hi, Lewis. Model making trucker. Goods and services tax. Most of the prices were Australian New Zealand customers is due to the cost of freight haulers going gouging Games Workshop and other suppliers. Yeah, you get gouge on everything there, from games to all kinds of crap. So yeah, I think just the cost of getting stuff to you. Now you see, if Australia could suddenly lead the world in, like, I don't know, electronics or like that, if it could suddenly become a world leader, like Japan is a world leader for electronicery and tech. If you suddenly became like the place that everybody else goes to get X, then you could gouge prices from them. If you suddenly became no longer dependent on the territories. Seam clean up. Aussies get get it hard price wise. Mind you, Norway has the highest taxes in the world, being 50%, but your wages are astronomical to reflect this. I may have described that wrong there, he said. Aren't there like 6 people in Norway anyway, so... Am I thinking of Finland? I don't know. It's all them weird countries that we confuse with Belgium and Holland. Only in my brain can I get Holland and like Denmark confused. I don't know. If you ask a British person, most people on the street, where do the Dutch people come from? They'll be like, So that whole part of the world is very confusing to the British. It's all very confusing because it's all got different names. Where the hell is Scandinavia? I have no idea. No idea. When the Tyranids attack, Australia is the only country with an answer. They're world leaders in terrifying wildlife. Yeah, there is that. It's not really something you want to export, though. It's something the rest of the world would rather they didn't export. And I'm quite happy that they don't. Very much. Like in most countries, you have, peaceful creatures. Cow. horse, moth. But in many countries, you have the peaceful creatures that you can learn to live with, and then you have like the horrible versions, like the death horse or the death moth, Peruvian death horse, or the, you know, Catalonian death moth. In Australia, there's no differentiation. They just have the word Australian. So it's not an Australian death spider. It's just an Australian spider. It's not an Australian death worm. It's Australian worm. It's just implicit that it's horribly dangerous and poisonous or venomous. One of the two. Probably both. Usually both. Quano Man says, "Oh, I've just discovered I can wedge my iPhone under the strap of my leg brace and still use it." Yeah, until you forget it's there and you're like, "Where's I put my phone? Can't find my phone." Yeah, Fox, you know about Aussie spiders. I do. I know all about Aussie spiders. The strange thing is, though, the funny thing is, you know, I've held tarantulas, and they were awesome. Yeah, I've had, what was it, an orange kneed silver tarantula, like a brilliant metallic silver colour with orange knees. An orange kneed tarantula on my hand, and it was beautiful. She was beautiful and just stood there, and she was moving about a little bit, and it felt so delicate. And I don't mind that. I'd be like, that's cool. And it was like, if we had huntsman spiders, for example, knowing that, because, you know, if you're an Australian and you see a huntsman spider, you instantly release all the contents of your entire digestive tract, and you would run away as quickly as possible, because of course you would. But the thing is, they are harmless. They eat the things that try to kill you, so they're actually your friends. And if I was honest, I'd probably say, if I lived in Australia, well, actually I wouldn't live in Australia because I'd just die. But if huntsman spiders were a thing here, I probably wouldn't be bothered if I saw one on my wall. I'd just scoop it up and throw it out, or catch it in something and throw it out. You know, if I opened a box, if I opened something and there was a huntsman spider in there, I'd probably, you know, part myself quite violently. But that's because it's the shock. But if I walked into a room and there was a huntsman sat on the wall, I'd be like, cool. If I was used to them, and if I you know, had familiarity with them. But house spiders, no, they can just GTFO because they're just fast. I mean, they are harmless. House spiders are harmless, but it's the fact they go like that, and you're like, eh. It's not so much a spider will scare me, because if I walk into a room and there's a spider on the wall, I'll be like, oh, it's a big bug, oh. Then I'll go and get a glass and I'll try and throw it out, and I might not go to bed till I've thrown it out. But it's when they just suddenly appear without warning, you're like, boy, and then you may do a little bit of poop might come out. What happened to the one Kenneth sent you? It's downstairs. It's downstairs on the shelf, on the top of my display cabinet, where my nephews, at some point when I eventually see the rest of my extended family again, at some point in the next 2 years, will no doubt come in one day and say, "What's that box?" And they'll grab it and go, "Ah!" And then there'll be most merriment as maybe a little bit of poop comes out of them, and then they're stuck all the way going down to Chelmsford with poopy trousers. Yeah, I'm a bad man. I'm a horrible man. Right, this needs to be... we've got some choicings. I see. Oh, I see. We have and choice. Wait a minute. Oh, I didn't know that. I've just built this thing, and that's one of two choices. I could have built the one with the... Don't tell me at the end that there are options, you muppets. Although I could have actually seen it said Servo Hauler 1. That would have... Yeah, so there is one... Oh no, hang on, wait, what? Am I just building one today? I think I'm just building one, aren't I? I think. And the rest go towards... Which issue do they go towards? Let's find out. going to guess they probably go to... There we go. They go to the Sector Mechanicus crane. But I don't understand now then. That leaves me with a second set of tracks. Am I building 2 or am I building 1? I'm confused now. I'm confused. Am I build? I think I'm building. I've got another body, tracks, bits and bobs. Oh, maybe I'm doing both. Oh no, I think we are doing both. Oh, okay. Oh, right. God, it's confusing. I thought all this was stuff I wasn't going to use. It's like, well, no, because there's an entire tractor body there, so of course I'm going to use it. Wow, they could have made that a bit clearer. Anyway. Athol says, Fox, jumping spiders are the worst. We have them as they jump on you, then they bite. We get jumping spiders that are like little about this big. They're literally about that size. And they're little black and white things. Also call them zebra spiders. And they just kind of go... They move like in little jerks, like that. And then they occasionally jump. But they're quite cool because you can see them pootling about. I don't think they bite you. I was done anyway. One set of tracks which come on the sprue. Wait, hang on. I don't want to stop building a second servo hauler and then find I'm supposed to use that for the crane. The crane has train tracks. A15, A16, A17 and 18. So 15, 16. 15, 16, 17 and 18. I'm just going to look at them. Let's just look at them. 18. Oh, okay, right, okay, no, yes, okay, right, that's fine. Yes, there'll be some cross members and some... All right, that's fine. So I can build 2. I don't know. It's poorly laid out there. Honestly. Can't get the stuff. Just cannot get the stuff. Right, so... As I was so rudely saying when I was so rudely interrupted, the bit that I was working on that's now pinged off somewhere, and there it is. This can be attachifated to there. This needs to go on ERC, and it can go however you want, I suppose. Have to be lined up in a certain way. Now we are going to have to clean up that little mould line there. And here, but all in good time. Good time. Get this bit on first. Yes, I kind of misread it and thought I was building 1 of these, and I had an option to build it with the big grabby arm or the little pointy arm. It wasn't really clear if I was building 1 or 2. It goes in there like that, you see. There you go, lovely. Lovely. Best fit in the world, but it works. Will suffice. It's supposed to be a knackered old piece of machinery. I shall make it look knackered and old. Gonna have great fun weathering these up. And this is like when you get like a 1/35th tractor kit, like the old sort of Russian tractors, and people spend weeks weathering them. Okay. Next up we have the angle of dangle arm, which goes on here like that, which of course can be placed in any direction. Probably is easiest for storage in a rearward facing potential direction. I think what I'll do is I will leave that off, not for any other reason than it's going to get in the way when I try and fill that seam, gap there around here, so it's going to be easier for me if I leave that off. If I'd planned ahead, could have put some plastic in there with an magnet and magnetized it, but not to worry. This is not the end. Athel's off to go and get tea, so thanks for coming in, Athel. Take care, mate. There we go. Right, so that's that bit done. I'll see if I can clean up those little seam lines now. Let's have a look and see. Did I squidge out enough glue to do a bit of a fixie fix on these seam lines? Let's have a look and see. Been about an hour. more. If I'm lucky, enough glue squidged out right away at the start that I can just not have to fill this at all. You don't always have to use fillers, people. I like using the scribing, the seam line removal tool, because it gives you a nice flat surface. Of course, the other thing I can do, if I want to be really lazy, if I've got like a mould line going down a bit, of course, there's nothing stopping me getting a greeble and sticking it on there. Because it's a piece of industrial equipment, I can put on whatever greebles I want. I may well just end up doing something like that, get a little like piece of cowling or something and just make it up. Because nobody'd know. It'd still be awesome. Get this bit done. This is a wonderful tool for if you've got two bits that are glued together like that, and perhaps let's say you've got two halves of something, and they go clink like that, but you've got a little bit of a gap or a step. You've got a little bit of a step between two pieces like that. That's exaggerated, but imagine a tiny microscopic step. You get that because it's rigid. You go zip, and it just nicely smooths it down. It's great for smoothing out stuff when you've done any kind of sprue glue filling or filling of seam filling and bits and bobs. So it's so easy. But yes, I can if I need to. I can always fall back on the old stick a greeble on it. Because if you remember, my two missions in life are to show you that everything is really actually not as hard as you think. And also, you don't have to make work for yourself. Sometimes there are easier ways to do things that don't involve weeks and weeks of construction. And again, I hate building. I'm a painter, not a builder. If I can skive out of doing building construction bits, I will. There's nothing wrong with that. No harm, and there's no right and wrong. There's no badness if you cut corners by adding a greeble. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's all part of the creative process. All about what you want the end result to be. At the end of the day, you wouldn't say that compared to Rembrandt, Van Gogh was rubbish because he spent a day painting a picture, whereas Van Gogh might paint a hand in a day. It's two different techniques. Two different interpretations. That's the trick. The only person that can tell you you're doing something right or wrong is you, and you are the absolute final arbiter on this matter at all times. This is a fiddly bit. If you don't want to clean something up and you know you can just put a piece of plastic card over it or a greeble or something, done. Scratchy back of my head itch. For glue, I like to use Plumber's priming solution. It's basically just MEK, just like Tamiya Ultra Thin. Works great. If it works for you, then fine. Yeah, I'd rather just use glue, normal model glue. But I use for filler normally. For gluing, I use like extra thin and regular Tamiya cement, or I'll use the I use a more all-purpose glue if I'm doing ABS or something. But if it works, don't knock it. I also use sprue glue. I make sprue glue, which is the Tamiya extra thin and polystyrene. So yeah, if it melts polystyrene, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Getting that up there, lovely. See, there's two little that you won't see it on camera, but there's two little pieces there that have come together like that. I'd had a slight step and a little bit of a gap, but I'd scrooged the glue out between them. So first of all, the gap had been filled by glue that had splooged out, and also the slight step was there. So I got this thing and I went, did that, and it just flattened them down, a perfectly smooth, completely invisible gap. So now it basically just takes, even if there's a slight step into things like that, the camera, like that, if you take that one down enough, at some point they'll just be equal and there'll be no gap. So you just really plane. It's like a plane. You're planing it flat, and on sort of flat edges and raised things like that, this is an absolutely invaluable tool. So if you've not got one of these, other brands are available. If you've not got one of these mold line removal tools, I do recommend it. Absolutely well worth its weight in gold. I need something smaller. We are our own worst critics, me especially. Says Model Maker Mayhem. Yep. Probably not visible, that little seam. A little bit in there I can't quite get to. I try not to use the blade if I can avoid it, for getting rid of gaps and seams and stuff, cleanups. But sometimes if it's a tiny little gap, you've really got no choice. I just don't like using a blade because a blade flexes and bends and can scrape and scratch the surface, and is nowhere near as clean as the removal tool. But I mean, as long as it's basically a piece of steel that's not flexible, that's all you really need, with a nice 90-degree corner to it. That's all that matters. Fuzzy bits on there, but I can clean that up quite nicely with a little bit of extra thin. If you've got fuzzy texture left when you've been doing some sanding or scraping, give it a quick blast of a little tiny bit of extra thin. It will just melt the surface ever so slightly, smooth off any rough jaggedy bits. There you go, that's now not exactly smooth as a baby's butt, but once there's a primer coat on that, you won't see any of that. That mold line there, seam line is gone. We'll find another. It's really just a subtractive method. It's, you know, you stick your bits together and then you basically plane them down a tiny amount to the point where you can't tell which one, you can't see them separately because you see the glue between them both. You've whittled that surface away down to the lowest area. It's not going to really work on that one there. It's hard to get to. This one I can't get at it though with this one. So with this bit here at the back, I might just put a little piece of plastic card over that. I can't quite get the tool in without these bits being affected, and that's going to look a bit pants. So for that bit, assuming this is, for that bit we can use a little bit of plastic card, I think. So I'll clean this bit here that I can get to. If I do this bit here, I'm going to make a step here. I don't want that. So for that bit, I'll come back to it in a second with a bit of plastic card, I think. Or Anne Greeble of some sort. Now, I'm not going to use Anne Greeble that I've got to hand because that means going under the desk to get my Greeble box out, and that's just a pain in the bum. So that's not going to happen. May just be a little bit of plastic card that I cut. I mean, I've got to go under the desk to get my plastic card, but it's a lot easier. I shouldn't have glued this thing on. It's a real pain now trying to manoeuvre around it. For this bit at the back, I'm going to leave that a bit longer, I think, because it's still not fully... Or is it? I don't know. Find out. Mold line, seam line that goes right down the middle of this sort of cylindrical device. Not ideal. File that down on this cylinder bit here. Is one way. I don't want to go too far, so that might need a little tiny touch of sprue glue on there. There's like a little pit just between the two halves of this central cylinder piece here. I can only file it down so far before it disappears. While I'm there doing that, that's doable now, so I can work on this bit. I was going to leave it for a bit because it seemed like it might still be a bit squidgy, but it seems to be okay. We're going to work our way around these bits. Really wish I hadn't glued that on. It's a right pain. It's right in the way. Just file up. sometimes it is easier to go in with a file. You just kind of, it's hard to explain when you know when to use a file and when to use a mold line tool and when to use sanding sticks. It's one of those things that you just kind of instinctively get a feel for, basically. You'll see me varying between my file, my scrapey tool, and my sanding sponge, or my bigger sanding sponges, or a blade. I'll kind of switch between them. A good technique is not sticking to one technique. A good technique is knowing that there are many different options available and which one might suit you best. You won't know for sure until you do it. You know, you might try something and it makes a complete hash of it, but at least you've learned something in the process. That's the trick, you see. On this bit, okay, it's difficult to know for sure because there are some shiny parts where there's still shiny glue. So it looks like there's a gap or a hole, but it might not be. It's just there's a bit of shiny going on. So let's see if I can get my blade into a little recess there. Common Road Junction is in. Welcome, Common Road Junction. Welcome, welcome. Team Inept says, actually, Fox's worst critics are me and Cy Reynolds. Yeah, pretty much. I also use the Citadel mold line remover for shaving down the bead when I've closed a seam with the glue and squeeze method. Sometimes I end up not having to sand at all. Exactly, that's what I use it for. That's what I'm doing it now. And a lot of this, I haven't had to put any filler or sprue glue in. There's one little bit there I'm going to put some sprue glue on. And then says, well, my laptop's battery is dying and I appear to have left the charger at work because I'm a dingus, so I'm out of here. Have a good one, folks. Take care. Space Hamster, thanks for coming in, mate. What are you building? Asked Common Road Junction. We are building. I'm working my way through the Warhammer Conquest part work, slowly, and we are building some galvanic servo haulers, which are basically that and that. Tractor with arm and track. It's Warhammer tractors, basically, is what we're building today. They're effectively, in Warhammer, they're effectively scenery pieces or objective markers. But we're on issue 63. Issue 62. We've still got 38. No, haven't got 38 issues. We've got about 17 or 18 issues to go, I think. Some number of some kind, I guess. So working our way through the Warhammer Conquest part work. I'm getting everything built up first, so that then later in the year I can come back and start filming the proper paint jobs. Because it's going to take me, and it's going to take me a long time to get all these things painted up and filmed. But I take comfort from a guy called David Bull. I may work slowly, but I take comfort from a guy called David Bull, who is a Canadian chap who lives in Japan and has done for 30 or 40 years. He is a Canadian Japanese woodblock print maker. He carves and prints designs in the ukiyo-e style, Japanese style, and he's been doing it for a very long time. He's one of the best in the world. And he broke into it, managed to get himself into the Japanese ukiyo-e and wood carving culture. And he did a series, many years ago, he did a series of prints for his backers. It was all like, he has patrons and they pay him and so on, but he started a project to do 100 prints based on some various Japanese legends and stories and things. So it was 100 prints, and the idea was that he'd do the first print and then keep doing these prints over and over and over, like each month if he could. And the big thing for him was he had to keep the same style from the start to the end. It took him 10 years. 10 years to do these 100 prints. And then that's what established him in the eyes of some of the Japanese craftsmen. That's what made him, you were like, okay, he's one of us now. There you go. So yeah, 10 years it took him. So I'm not stressed that it could take me a year or more to paint all these Warhammer Conquest things. I don't care. I don't mind. I'm not in a rush to get anything done. What I do need to do, though, is quickly and very loosely clean up this mould. I'm not bothered about this seam line down here too much because A, it's underneath. B, I'm going to cover it in pigments and powders so it get covered up anyway. I'm not really going to make too much of an effort on this bit because you're not ever going to see this. This bit I don't really care about. There is the law of diminishing returns when it comes to things like this. Yes, I'll know it's there if I spent hours filling it and everything else. But once I've put powders on that and pigments, and you've got the tracks on, you're not ever going to see it, ever. You're never going to... So, there's no point using up my time worrying about it. What I'm going to do, though, is go under the desk and get some plastical cards at 1 second. Let's have a look and see what we got. There's a bit, that'll do. Oh, take that, no, hang on. One hand. That's far too thick. No, hang on. Hold that thought. That one. Oh, God, it's a long way down there, you know. It's a long way to go when you have to go down under the desk. Oh, right. I actually wasn't going to get this model, but now I've been inspired. Good in cat yellow. There's a few in the part work. There's these two, and there's also I haven't got the actual front covers of the magazines here, but there's also the Sector Mechanicus crane, which looks like that. And in the sense of the game, they're both sort of terrain pieces and objective. So if you're playing a game, it might be the objective for your guys to capture the servo hauler, or it could just be a terrain piece to make your game table look interesting. Right. Yeah, welcome to Fox's school of lazy ass covering stuff up. Anyone waiting on orders being delivered? We're told one day your prints will come. I've missed a joke there, I think. Big coffee. Now, like I said, I could go and get some bits from my sprues and bits box, but I don't know where it is. It's under here somewhere, but it's like over there under 5 other things, and I'll be down there for 2 minutes. Or I could just make something. So let me get my little ruler. Yeah, it's my little ruler. Handy tip that I've learned recently that I must do: put some sandpaper on one side of your ruler, glue it to the one side of your ruler, because then when you put it down, slide. Right. Let's make a greeble. So I want to cover up that little bit of... What was I covering up now? I've forgotten. This little bit here. There's just a little gap there, and I can get my file in there to file it, or I can get my scrapey tool in there to scrape it, but I'm going to end up with a step between this bit and that bit, and I don't really want that. And I can't be bothered filling it because I have the same issue. So what I'm going to do is use some plastical cards instead, just to hide it. So let us do a thing. So what we want to do is we want to get a straight edge. Now, if this was a thick piece of plastic card, I would recommend using a scribing tool. Because it's a thin piece, we can get away with a knife, I think. No, let's try a scribing tool anyway. You might wonder why. It's usually because it gives you a smoother cut. Let's just a little. Try to find a straight edge that I know is straight. I don't know for sure, but we'll find out. Let's see. We'll take one of these. This bit here. I'm not going to cut it straight first off. I'm going to cut there. I'm not pushing down. I'm also not on camera. I'm not pushing down. I'm just using the weight of the scriber. Cut the edge off. And what I'll do is I'll cut. I don't want that though. You can use a knife for this, but I find the scriber gives a less stressed and neater cut sometimes. Because the knife blade will cut in a V shape and can make the plastic edge of the plastic bend, whereas this thing cuts straight flat, so should be alright. I know my head's in the way, I do apologise. There. I have to tweak this a bit. No pressure, no weight. Letting it just go by its own weight. Slowly carving out that piece. So you can do it with a knife, especially, I mean, this is, I don't know what thickness that is. You don't have to use a scriber tool, but I prefer to, especially on thick cut. If you've got a really thick piece of plastic card, the knack with that is to scribe the line a little bit way through, and then you can just snap it, and that's how you also get a nice clean cut. So if I did that with a knife, it might have curled up at the side or given me like a slightly risen edge, which is not ideal. Now, what shape is that? Let's have a look and see what we got there. Not quite squared off. So I'm going to use the knife for this bit because I can just clamp down on this. So this is going to be, line it up on my cutting board. Now normally I'd look at this from above and it'd be a lot easier, but I know my head's in the way. Do that there and just kind of go nicked. Square there. You know, I had a cutting board for many years before I realised you can use a cutting board for actually measuring things. Because I'm an idiot. What can I say? There we go. That's square enough. Tweezers. Now, what size would this be? It will be just about perfect because it's gonna hide most of the little gap. It's gonna be underneath this anyway, and it's gonna have weathering on top. So that's spot on perfect. Doesn't really matter at all, really. Not quite sure it's straight though. Hang on. Nope. May need to do a bit more adjustage. When you actually get it in situ, it looks a bit not quite rectangular. Right, I'm gonna have to do this by looking down on it, so excuse me for a second, folks, because I can't do it while I'm doing it for an angle. There we go. That needs to be 90 degrees. What looks like 90 degrees on your workbench may not be 90 degrees when you actually get it in situ. There, it's better. Now what I can do is I can make it a bit more interesting. So it's not just a square thing that's obviously covering up a gap. What you can do is make it a bit more interesting. I'm going to go in. I'm going to have to look down on here and do it again, I'm afraid. Go in and do that. Now we have two pieces. Why have I done that? Because the aim of this is to distract from the fact that there was a seam line under there. And I don't want it to look like I've just put a piece of plastic card over a seam line, because that's really obvious. So if I split it like that, it's not perfect. Also, it's not the right way around. It's not perfect, but it just makes it look a bit more complicated than it was. And therefore the viewer is tricked into thinking that it's just part of the kit. Now that's not quite straight there, so I need to... There, oops. Tricky this. This is not really a Warhammer style greeble, this is more like a standard sci-fi style greeble, really. But it's just the thing of making something a bit more interesting so it looks like it's part of the original model and not something I've stuck on the top. We'll go ahead and get one of these put on first. What I'm going to do is put it on the surface first and then touch the glue to it. You want to use very little with plastic card. Because the thing with plastic card is if you put on a load of cement, like Tamiya Extra Thin or whatever your glue of choice is, if you put a lot of it on, the plastic card can go a bit soggy. And especially if you're using it to cover a gap. If you put plastic card over a gap, there's a gap here. What you might find is the plastic card goes into the gap like that. Hello, Mama Fox. Hello. The plastic card might sag into the gap if it's a big gap or a hole, because it's become flippy floppy because you put loads of glue on it. So try and just keep your glue to minimum and don't push down on it. Just get a touch of glue, get it underneath, and it'll stick. It'll be fine. The beauty is, of course, on this one I haven't got such quite straight edges, but if I move them around and swap them around, they kind of look a bit less uniform. Not perfect by any long mean, any long chalk, any stretch of the imagination. I'm not even using real words now. Oh, sponge. Sponge! Sponge farm! Get that on there. Apologies if this is the back of my head you're watching non-stop. It's not perfect, but it's a simple little thing I can do just to hide that seam line that otherwise would be a little bit fiddly to get rid of. There you go. And once that's been primed and covered up, you won't even notice it. It's going to be hidden under there. Nobody's going to see it. It looks like a bit of panelling. And the other thing is, of course, by having that little gap there, it distracts the eye from the little tiny bit of sort of seam line you can see there. It's like a magician. You're not looking at what he's doing with his left hand because you're busy watching his right hand, but his left hand's where all the business is going on. So that's the idea. Distractive techniques. So there you go. That's that done. What's happening? This is where it goes. Boing, says Model Making Mayhem. Fox was talking about someone who took 10 years to do some prints. Yes, so I'm not worried about taking my time painting these, because if he, and in the video he was talking about, he said he made a rod for his own back because he realised he'd promised to all his backers that he would do 100 of these ukiyo-e prints in a traditional Japanese style, and at the time he was working in very flat colours and very simple outlines. But across the 10 years, his skills developed and he learned new techniques and he learned how to advance from that. But he had to make sure that the prints in this series all matched from the very first one. So although he'd moved on in skills and abilities over 10 years, he had to throttle it back to being 10 years ago. It's like, imagine if you draw a picture now and then you keep drawing every day, and in 10 years' time, you draw the same picture, it'll be 1,000,000 times better. But you have to do a picture every day, every month, and it has to look the same as the first one. It's really hard. So it took him 10 years. And he went through high points and low points. And I'm like, you know what? I don't mind if it takes me a year to paint all these things. That's fine. We're all going to be here for a long time. Saggy gap hole, says Paul. Could have also used some of your punched out rivets down each side of the seam line, says Mordrak. Oh, sorry. Oh, I forgot about Ken. Oh. I forgot about the rivets that Kenneth sent me. Where have I put them? I put them somewhere. Oh, put them in one of these drawers. I can't remember which drawer it was. I'll have to find them. Kenneth, where did I put you? Oh, I'll have to find them for next time because we've got another one of these to build anyway. Oh, you could do some rivets on there. I'll do that then. For the next video, I'll put them somewhere. Where the flipping Nora did I put them? That's going to bug me now. Why are they not up there with the other bits that Kenneth sent me? You know when you put something in a safe place, you know where it is, and then you forget where the safe place was. I'll dig them out for next time, and we'll get some hot rivet. Hang on, did I put them in one of these drawers? No, not in that one. Yeah, did I put them? They won't be in the sanding drawer. That would just be craziness. Sanding drawer. Oh, I put them somewhere. I put them somewhere that makes complete sense when I remember where I put them. Oh, find them for next time. We'll do some. They're in the spider box. No, they're not. I'll find them for next time. We'll do some rivetings. I put them somewhere and thought I need to put them somewhere that I'm going to remember where they are because I'm pushed on places to put them that won't be stuck away in a drawer that I'll forget, and then I've obviously forgotten where I put them. Bums. Where did I? Oh, Fox, you're a spoon. They are somewhere. I'll find them. I'll put them somewhere. Anyway, yeah, we'll do that next time. We've got another one of these to build anyway. Hot rivet action. How many rivets are there? Says Paul. Many. I am now frustrated by that. I need to know where they are. That's really annoying. I've put them in a drawer somewhere. Dymo blades and Sharpies. Weathering paints. Tape and balls. No. Varnishes. No. That's all paints. Mr. Metal and mixing cups. No. Bum cheeks. Are they in that? No. Are they in that? No. Taculon. I'll find them. I'll find them for next week. And then I'll forget. You watch, I'll forget next week. And I'll be like, oh, I forgot that bit. We've got other ones to build anyway. Spudger rubbers. It's model making mayhem. Let me stand up and have a look in a place. Hang on. Let me viewing helmet off. I'll bang everything on the desk. No, that pins. Chuffy Nora. It doesn't help that I can't remember what they were actually in. I think they were in little plastic tubs like me flowers that Kenneth made me, but I can't quite remember. In the little like lip balm plastic tubs, but what the hell did I do with them? I'll find them. I'll find them for next week. Panic not, folks. They will be located and used. You have a drawer for bum cheeks. Yeah, underbrush cups. Underbrush cups. Brush cups. I don't know where brush cups are. Anyway, yeah, I'll find them for next week. Darn it. What's that? No, that's not them. I need to go through the drawers properly. Figure out where the heck I put them. Oh, that's really annoying. I want magnets. Magnets. How do they work? Yes, I know what I'm looking for. Little makeup. Lip balm. It's gonna pop into my brain at like 2 in the morning, and I'm gonna be like, oh, I was just getting to sleep. Yeah, git. Have you checked in the freezer next to the frozen banana guacamole? Little round pot, says Chris. Yes, little round transparent makeup pots. Damn it. I was looking for something else actually as well the other day that came with them, and I couldn't find that either. I've put them somewhere. I'll find them anyway next week. Right, what we were doing, chat. Right, what we've got left to do on this little puppy now. Let's have a look and see. We have. Oh, that's it. Is it? This must be the conclusion of this particular vehicle then. So we've got the crawly wheel things. Crawly wheel times. Which I'm not going to glue on to facilitate the paintings later on. Meh. Painting facilitated. That sits like that. Looks like a little spudgy. It's typical Warhammer. It's just overcomplicated nonsense. You don't need 6 wheels on this. You could. Yeah, I love the way they over-engineer everything. And this big little grabby claw on the back, which I'm not gluing on, just for the ease of painting again later on. It's so cute. It is kind of adorbs. I don't actually know where the driver would go. Yeah. I assume it's automated. And there's no actual drivulations involved. Oh, I need to do some Sprugo. Sprugo! Sprugo! It's controlled by a servitor. Oh, you mean it's got a dude in there? No, there's no. I can't see a dude's head anywhere. Don't tell me it's another human that's been turned into a. That's just more grimdark that we don't need right now. That claw be a good candidate for a magnet, says Dan. Hey Dan, yeah, I was just saying if I hadn't glued all this together like a spoon, I could have put a little bit of plastic card in there with a magnet on it, or built something into this hole and then magulonicated that, and it would have been like magnet times. But I didn't do that, so I'm a tool basically. You could theoretically build this up with some plastic tubing to make it longer, like a piece of like plastic, thick, solid plastic tube, and it could go in and then not fall out, just to lengthen that little sort of step there, make it about that long. and then it would be like thump, and it would just stay in place. It wouldn't fall off. But I haven't got any plastic tubing like that. It's a bit beyond my capabilities without the relevant plastic tubing. I'm not sure how I would do that. Thank you very much. Yeah, but yeah, you could magnetize that if you were looking forward enough. I didn't say there wasn't one in there. It would be controlled by one wired into a mainframe. Yeah. I reckon you could easily magnetize the turning grabber. Yes, we've just had that entire conversation, dude. I've got nowhere to put a magnet in there. I should have built that in. I could fill it with stuff and put a magnet in, but then the stuff could just go inside. And yeah, I didn't plan ahead. Did not plan that one ahead. I'll glue it. Never mind. Anyway, I've got to put some Sprogo on now. Sprogo. Got a little tiny dimple in that flat section there. I could just keep filing it, but it's getting a bit... I don't want to file it flat into it doesn't exist. So it's easier for me if I just put a tiny amount of sprue glue. Because there's obviously... You've got two pieces glued together, but there's a little gap and the glue hasn't gone all the way in, and it's not filled that with polystyrene. So you've got this little void in between two pieces, and I need to just cover that a bit now. Oh, hello, my little... Hang on. A ring of Sprogo. So, don't need a lot, tiny amount, just to bleb into there. That's more than enough, and then I can sand that flat. Good, there we go, that'll do. That's far too much. But that'll nicely stand flat with no effort in a few hours. Because it's just like a little raised circular bit, and if I keep sanding it, just filing it, it'll just file away and I'll never see it again. The surveyed head is the dome lens bit at the front. No, I think that's a headlight. That's a great big headlight. I'm going to choose to believe that. Build up a tube with loads of sprue sticks glued into a sort of rod. Could do. I mean, I could build a tube out of plastic card that just sits in there, and then... but it's also curved. Yes. What's the next one like? Let's consider... Nearly put me... Oh! I just squished it. So what's the next one like? Because then we can maybe plan ahead for that one. I don't like doing magnety things, and it's not just something I can blop a magnet into rather than building a structure for it. This will be much the same, but the hole will be at the front. So with that one, you've got the hole here in the front. Like there, can you see that? Yeah. It could be possible to build something into that. Even if it's just bits of plastic card stuck on the inside with a magnet plopped on top. Thick plastic card, because you don't want it to come out again ever. The difficulty is gluing things inside when you've got the two sides glued together. I'd have to cut a circle of plastic card out that was wide enough. Basically, let's plan this now. Let's just plan it. I would have to cut out a piece of plastic card that's wide enough to fill that hole. Then imagine that's the hole. It's got to be a little bit wider so I can glue it to one side like that, so it sticks out like this. And then sand it and file it so it's a circle shape, and then put the other piece on. If it's a bit too big and it's getting in the way, sand it and file it a bit more. That would work. Then just attach some tiny little tiny little magnets. I do have tiny little magnets. How tiny can I go magnet wise? Can I get these magnets out? Magneting times. Oh, come out. Oh, there's too much junk in this corner of the bench. Micro magnets, tiny magnets. I need flat magnets, I need something that's thin and flat. I have many magnets. Many magnets, Mahoney. What they are. I don't know how you open these things. There we go. That goes that way. They are... Oh. It might work. Maybe. I don't know. That might work. Some of these might work. Little tiny things. Could be a possibility. I mean, what I might do, for the sake of my sanity, excuse me, I might get that bit done in advance next week, and then we can magnetate it later on, maybe. That might be an idea. So I shall put that there. Cobble something together. I'll try and get this back in the drawer now. Awesome. Yes, I might give that a go. Try and cobble something together. Don't forget that you'll need 2 magnets. I kind of got that bit. That bit's the easy bit. I know how magnets work. 5mm magnets, the best ones to work with the whole arms. What's this size? These are 1mm, 6mm and 35s. I just need it to be not tall. It doesn't need to be big wide, but just not tall so that it can go underneath the rim of the hole, but not obscure it. We'll figure it out. I'll find out. I might have a play with that later on then, or before next week's show. I might just change my mind and glue the thing on. I don't know yet. It might be like far too much effort to do all that, and I might be like, you know what, I'm just going to glue it. I know you well enough to know that some things need to be repeated, says Paul. You just shut up. You repeat nothing. What'd you say? Yeah. So maybe. We'll see. Knowing that I am utterly lazy, I may just go, you know what, I'm just going to glue it. That is entirely possible. Do not underestimate the amazing slacking power of Fox. My slacking power is unparalleled. Right, so that is now that done. I think we're going to leave it there for today because I don't want to start the next one. Oh, you see that, but it's kind of cute. It's kind of a daubs. Kind of a twisted. It's like something out of a children's book if children were sick and twisted and all that. And it's probably got a human power in there, built in there. Some criminal that did something wrong and got turned into a tractor. Good God. Remember to get the magnets round the right way round. They only work one way, says Osric. It's the first race of the season. Watch out for that barrier. It'll only slow you down. Yes. Anybody who can name that video game gets 10 space points. It's the first race of the season. Right. I think we're going to call it there, and we'll call it a show. Let's have a look. Got to Scoot, says Spid. Well, I'm going to close now anyway, and it's Chris later on, so you know. We're going to leave it there. That'll do for this week, I think. I'm going to be back, obviously, tomorrow for the eModels show on the eModels channel with Chris, Cole, and Ted. Don't forget, after I've finished here at 6:15, it's going to be Dad on his channel, Scaly Models, doing some bits and some bobs. So go and make sure you watch that. Don't forget, of course, after that, 8 o'clock, it's the Chris and Ted show, and it's Chris this week, working on, I assume, his Orc Battle Wagon still. So it's Chris at 8 o'clock for Warhammer Sunday. So do go and watch that, and then we're back on Monday for the eModels show. I will again this week try and get some of the Falcon done, and that'll be streamed on eModels because I'm still doing the buildy part. And there may be a new live stream next Friday, but we'll see. New live stream series, we will see. Busy things, many things to do. I need to clear my throat, 1 sec. There we go. That's not better at all, but never mind. Nope, nobody got the thing. It was Destruction Derby, vintage Destruction Derby game, old PC game from 1990 something. It's the first race of the season. Is it Destruction Derby or Demolition Derby? It might be Demolition Derby. It's an old game, very old game. Anyway, I was playing it on a Windows 3.1 PC, put it that way. Anyway, I shall leave it there. So, massive thank you to all of you for watching. As always, of course, massive thank you to my patrons who support me at patreon.com/modelmakingguru. They pay my bills, keep my food on the table, and I love them dearly. Massive thank you to them. And to Goblin Gaming and emodels.co.uk, my corporate sponsors and affiliates. Check out the links in the description below and use those links to make sure I get the commission from those purchases. That doesn't cost you anything, but I get some kickback from them. Do go and use those links in the description below. And I shall see you all tomorrow. You're welcome, Fox, says Model Making Mayhem. Okay, cool, thank you. See you guys with the stream. I need to go and find something for lunch. Find foods, eat the foods. I need to go and make the dinner now. I will see you all probably in the chat for Dad's show in a bit, or if not, for Chris's show later on. One of the two, depends on when I have my dinner. But I'll see you all again soon anyway. So take care of yourselves. I'll make sure my buttons are still working. Yeah, yes, miraculously they are. Take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome. Go be awesome. You already are, but just be more awesome. And I shall say to you, adios, amigo. I just said Amigas. Whoa, retro computer nonsense. Amoebas. Why did I say Amigas? That's weird. That's weird. Anyway, yes, take care of yourselves. Adios, amigos. Buzz.